Welcome to Staffworks Explained. If you are here for the first time, please subscribe to this channel. For repeat viewers, we thank you for your support. In this video, we'll be looking at the current situation in DRC as it gears towards the general elections that will be held on December 20th. Particularly, we'll be looking at the formation of a Congo River Alliance that was announced in Nairobi, Kenya. We'll be looking at the political context and concerns that this has raised, the reactions from various sources, especially from the DRC government, and the possible diplomatic fallout between Kenya and DRC. We'll be looking at the Kenya response, what the Kenya has said about this formation of Congo River Alliance. We'll be looking at the upcoming DRC elections and what effect that this has on elections. We'll be looking at the ICRAF now that it has been withdrawn from Eastern DRC. Is there any relationship between the formation of this alliance and the withdrawal of ICRAF? We'll be looking at the SADC forces, the truce between DRC and Rwanda, as well as the key questions and concerns that the formation of Congo River Alliance are raising. So welcome, and let us move together as we will explore this sensitive issue and what is happening in DRC. Welcome. Corneille Nangaa, this is a man at the helm of all this, and this is a guy that is exiled in Kenya, and he was once the president of the Electoral Commission of DRC, CENI. In a surprise move, he unveiled a controversial political military alliance with M23 rebels and other armed groups in DRC, where he pledged to save the Democratic Republic of Congo. Amid its heightened tensions ahead of elections in DRC, Nangaa, with the former head of DRC Electoral Commission, CENI, launched what is being known as Congo River Alliance. And this was done in Nairobi, Kenya, on December 16th. This news sent shockwaves through the nation, raising immediate concerns about potential destabilization. The inclusion of M23, which is a notorious group for displacing over 1 million people in the recent clashes, is particularly alarming. Despite Rwanda denials accusation of support of M23, this lingers, adding a complex layer to the alliance formation. Nangaa, now living in exile, frames the alliance as a response to state weakness and its alleged failure to maintain nationwide authority for decades. He claims to unite 9 armed groups through this is under the banner of national unity and stability. But skeptics see a political play in midst of a volatile election year. Adding fuel to the fire, Nangaa's recent public statement with President Tshisekedi, which cast a doubt over the alliance's true intentions. His controversial claims of a post-election power-sharing agreement between Tshisekedi and former President Kabila, endorsed by African leaders, further fuel speculation about the alliance's true agenda. This unprecedented maneuver leaves the DRC at a critical juncture. With the elections looming and the specter of armed alliances rising, the question remains, will the Congo River Alliance bring unity or further fracture the DRC fragile peace? Democratic Republic of Congo has recalled its ambassadors from Kenya and Tanzania for consultation after this military alliance was formed. Alain Shibanda, who is the spokesperson for Congo Foreign Ministry, made the announcement on social media platform. The envoy for Tanzania was recalled because Tanzania hosts the headquarters of East African Community, which Congo also belongs to. Earlier, the Kenyan embassy head of mission was also summoned to the foreign ministry in Kinshasa. Congolese politicians and groups, including M23, who have seized territory in the eastern Congo, and Corneille Nangaa, who is a former Congo Elections Commission chief, launched the Congo River Alliance in Nairobi. While speaking during the launch, Nangaa, who was sanctioned by the USC for corruption and obstructing 2018 elections, said the alliance would bring together various Congolese armed groups, militias, social and political organizations. He said, "I'm looking for lasting solution. All communities must live together." The new alliance is an additional concern in the region where security or insecurity has persisted for years, and this is fueled by ethnic rivalries and tussle over land and resources within the region. Bintou Keita, who is the head of UN peacekeeping mission in Congo, said in a post that he made in Twitter that she was extremely concerned by the creation of a new political military platform. The Minister for Communication and Government spokesperson, Patrick Muyaya, reacted by highlighting the political and diplomatic consequences of this creation. He expressed concern about the impact of this movement on the electoral participation of the Congolese, accusing Corneille Nangaa of wanting to intimidate the population to dissuade by dissuading them from voting. The Congolese government believes that the objective of the Congo River Alliance is to disrupt the elections in DRC. Patrick Muyaya also called on the candidate of Moise Katumbi, whom Corneille Nangaa would have declared to support, to disassociate himself from this initiative. According to him, the opposition is preparing more to contest the results of the elections rather than participating in them constructively. Some commentators who are sympathetic to the government say that the creation of this movement which was done in Nairobi in the presence of a political leader of M23, which is supported by Rwanda, raises serious concerns about stability and security in DRC, as well as foreign influence in the country's political affairs. The commentators observe that political situation in DRC remains tense, with many actors seeking to influence the ongoing electoral process. The creation of Congo River Alliance, they say, raises concerns about the manipulation of population and possible violence that could result from these initiatives. They call on political leaders and international actors to work together to ensure that there is free, transparent, and peaceful elections in DRC. Kenya has distanced itself the claims it has distanced itself from the claims that it was involved in the internal affairs of DRC. A statement that was issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that they have launched investigation into allegation of ongoing, adding that Kenya is a country where freedom of press is guaranteed. The Minister of Foreign Affairs said that Kenya strongly disassociates itself from any utterances or activities which are likely to injure the peace and security of the friendly nation of DRC. He said that they have commenced investigation to determine the identities of the makers of the statement and the extent to which utterances fall outside constitutionality of protected speech. The ministry said that they have noted that Kenya is an open and democratic state where freedom of press is guaranteed. So, and they don't have control, and people may come here and make statements, and they cannot arrest them. As we know, Congo is due to hold presidential and legislative elections. This is in December 20th, and the presidential poll is overcrowded with 25 candidates. Felix Tshisekedi, who is the current president and the incumbent, and the leader of ruling coalition of Union for Democracy and Social Progress (UDPS), he remains the favorite against an opposition which is divided, and barring any twists and turns, he presents himself as the favorite over the divided opposition. You have Moses Katumbi, who is 58, a wealthy business person, and the boss of the renowned Lubumbashi football club, and the former governor for Katumbi, that was between 2007 and 2015, one of the mining provinces or mining areas, and he's the leader of or is with the party leader of the Together for the Republic, and this party highlights its business and successes and record in Katanga with construction of roads, schools, and development agriculture to assert, and he asserts that he knows how to manage the country. The other candidate is Martin Fayulu, who is 66 years old, and he is the leader of exiled party. He is a former executive of oil major company, and he wants revenge since his supporters believe that he's the one who won the 2018 election, and they normally refer to him as president-elect, since according to them his victory was stolen from him. Then we have Dennis Mukwege, who is 68, gynecologist, who is also a Nobel Peace Prize winner. This was in 2018 for his work with raped women. Is a long-time critic of power and continues to demand justice for the victims of armed violence in this country. The man is nicknamed as the man who repairs women, and this is a nickname that he inherited from a documentary dedicated to him. He has no political basis and was slow to launch his presidential campaign. He finally announced that he'll be running on October 2nd, and he denounces the corrupt and predatory practices that exist in this country. He's the son of a pastor and is originally from South Kivu, where he runs a hospital. The other presidential candidate is Muzito, who is 66 years old. He's a former prime minister. That was between 2008 and 2012. He's also a former minister of budget and ex-inspector of finance. Is the leader of a Novel Elan party, and is a former ally of Martin Fayulu in the Lamuka coalition. Then we have Deli Sesanga, who is a 53 years old man. He's a lawyer and deputy to Louisa and leader to Envol party. He supported the candidacy of Tshisekedi in 2018, and he has since become a critic of the president. So we have other presidential candidates. In total there are 25, and with this crowded race, it will be interesting to see how it goes. One question that is being asked is whether the formation of the alliance has anything to do with the election. So as we proceed, we'll see whether there is any relationship between the formation of these as we near the election. You see whether there was any relationship between the formation of this alliance and the elections that are be held in December 20th. So does the withdrawal of ICRAF play any role in formation of this alliance? This is another question that is being asked. ICRAF, which is East Africa Community Regional Force, is drawn from Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, and South Sudan. This force was deployed to Eastern DRC in November 2022 with a complex mandate, which was to neutralize armed groups, stabilize Eastern DRC, and foster peace in this region. Their journey was intertwined with successes, challenges, and also, but they ultimately withdrew in December 2023 when their mandate was not renewed by the government of DRC, prompting the East African Summit to declare that they will not be extending their stay in DRC after December 8th. ICRAF arrival initially brought hope in this region. Their presence helps stabilize certain areas, allowing displaced civilians to return home and resume economic activities. Additionally, they facilitated dialogue between the armed groups and Congolese government, creating a window for potential solutions. However, complexities arose. The M23 group, a prominent armed group which is claimed to be supported by Rwanda, did not fully disarm as expected, and this created tension and delayed peace progress. Accusation of Rwanda support for M23 further complicated the situation, adding a regional layer to the conflict. ICRAF faced limitations. Their mandate lacked explicit authorization to attack armed groups unless fired upon first, and this hindered provocative action as DRC government expected. They also relied on troop contributions from different EAC member states, leading to diverse military approaches and potential consideration within the force itself. This limited mandate and internal dynamics sometimes resulted in frustration from the Congolese government, who expected a more aggressive approach against M23 and other groups. In certain instances, there were accusations of inaction or passivity from the regional force. Despite these limitations, aircraft is said to have achieved notable successes. They facilitated the release of hostages, provided humanitarian assistance, and helped de-escalate several violent situations. Some argue that the presence of this force prevented M23 from capturing Goma, the provincial capital, provincial capital, which is would have been a potentially devastating scenario. However, missed opportunities remain. The political process between the government and M23 stalled, and violence erupted again in October 2023, and this led to civilian casualties, renewed displacement, and other atrocities. Ultimately, aircraft withdrawal in December 2023 has potentially left a security vacuum, and this raises concerns about future instability. Aircraft mission in DRC ultimately ran aground after the Congolese government, frustrated by limited progress and accusation of Rwandan influence, declined to extend the regional force mandate. Left with their options dwindling and no prospect of stronger mandate, the aircraft reluctantly withdrew in December 2023, leaving a fragile peace and security vacuum in its wake, raising concerns about renewed violence and regional stability. So this could have also played a part in formation of this alliance, according to some commentators. Moving forward, the DRC faces challenge of filling the security gap that was left by aircraft withdrawal. Although the withdrawal is gradual, the SADC force is expected to arrive, but questions remain about their effectiveness and long-term commitment. Sustainable peace in eastern DRC likely requires a combination of military, political, and economic solutions, addressing the grievances of local communities and promoting inclusive governance. It is possible that withdrawal of aircraft may have played a role in formation of a Congo River Alliance, though the exact extent and nature of that influence may remain an open debate. Those who argue for this argument see that there's a vacuum that was left by aircraft. This regional force departure created a security gap in eastern DRC, where the M23 and other armed groups operate. This instability could have provided an opportunity for the CRA to emerge as a self-proclaimed solution to these security challenges, potentially attracting divided communities. Then there's dissatisfaction with aircraft, with some Congolese, particularly those critical of the regional force, perceiving ineffectiveness against M23. This might see the CRA or the Congo River Alliance as a more responsive and decisive alternative. The alliance inclusion of M23 could be seen as an attempt to fill the security gap left by aircraft withdrawal. Then there is political opportunism. The timing of this alliance launch, which coincided with the elections, suggests a potential attempt to influence the political landscape. Some might see the alliance as a way to exert pressure on the government or mobilize support for specific candidates, particularly with the aircraft no longer present to act as a counterbalance. There are those who argue against these. They talk of pre-existing tensions, where the conflict in eastern DRC predates aircraft deployment, and the tensions between the government and various armed groups, including the M23, have simmered over the years. The alliance formation could be seen as an outgrowth of this long-standing conflict, not solely a response to the region force withdrawal. Then the alliance stated goals of national unity and stability suggest broader ideological and political objectives, not just addressing the security vacuum left by the aircraft. Its leadership includes likes of Corneille Nangaa, whose motivations likely extend beyond filling a security gap. Aircraft withdrawal might have been unintended factor in the alliance creation, but it's difficult to say definitely or clearly that it was the sole or even primary cause. Other factors such as political maneuvering, regional rivalries could also have played equal role or significant role. Uh, Moving on to SADC forces. SADC force was mooted in May, but it took the decision took long to be finalized, and it was expected that 5,000 soldiers would be deployed in this region. SADC did not say when the forces would arrive. Experts say that aircraft contingents are likely to remain on the ground until they hand over to the SADC colleagues. At the beginning of November, before the heads of states meeting in Angola, President Tshisekedi urged SADC to deploy troops at least to route M23, which the country or the government considers a terrorist group. The status of forces agreement between SADC and DRC indicates that SADC mission will be deployed for an initial 12 months, and this is to neutralize negative forces and armed groups in eastern DRC and protect vital infrastructure and civilian populations who are under attack. President Tshisekedi has in the past said that the process of arrival of these troops in the DRC has reached its finalization phase. Some uncertainties surround the deployment of this force, given the amount of money that is required. Some countries like Namibia already signaled that they have no resources for that, and therefore they will not be sending the troops along. So this vacuum is likely to continue before we get the forces on the ground, given these complexities that have arisen as far as sending these troops is concerned. So those who argue that the gap that was left by aircraft may be drawing their point from these developments. We have a truce between Rwanda and DRC, which was brokered by United States. Although the leaders of these two countries, that is DRC and Rwanda, did not meet physically, they agreed that they will work towards finding a common ground because the tensions between these two countries has escalated, and some fear that they may even go to war. The DRC is now banking on the success of these truces, which was arranged by Washington, and Tshisekedi promptly directed his military to stop any working engagement with the FDLR, which is a group that arose out of remnants of perpetrators of Rwandan genocide against the Tutsi in 1994, and the Kigali government has often accused Kinshasa of backing this group. The U.S. released a statement calling on both Rwanda and DRC to stop supporting any rebel movements after U.S. Director of National Intelligence Danica Hines toured Kigali and Kinshasa. That was in November 2023. Some experts advise Kinshasa not to burn bridges with troop contributors. Kinshasa has been urged to pep up its military capabilities in dealing with the problem that foreign forces have failed to address. So far, it is expected that troops operating through bilateral arrangements that the DRC has entered with individual East African countries will remain, and so some troops might not leave the country, although they might have been deployed there through aircraft. Some, like those from Kenya, some forces from Kenya, from Burundi, and even Uganda, might continue providing security in this region even after the withdrawal of aircraft forces. It's also the forces are being withdrawn gradually, with the last date of withdrawal for aircraft forces being January 2024, as agreed by the chief of defenses from the countries that were contributing the troops. So Burundi has a running cooperation along before aircraft, and this means that they might continue. Uganda had a joint military operation with FADC, and that has been running since 2021, and this was to hunt the extremist royal group ADF. Kenya, an official in Kinshasa, indicated will continue to train Congolese soldiers in Kisangani, which is northeast of DRC, even though the initial parameters will not be changed to include any other troops on the ground. In August, DRC and Kenya signed defense agreements to strengthen military cooperation. Around the same time, DRC and Burundi signed a similar agreement. This was an amendment to the earlier deal in which Burundi had deployed troops into DRC. The launch of Congo River Alliance in Nairobi has thrown the already volatile political and security landscape in DRC into further uncertainty. While the alliance stated goals of national unity and stability resonates with many Congolese, the inclusion of M23 group and its links with political figures such as Nangaa raises deep concerns about potential violence and destabilization. The timing, coinciding with the elections, adds another layer of complexity. The Congolese government has recalled its envoys, and there has been international criticism of potential. This points to the potential for alliance to disrupt the electoral process and further worsen the situation. However, it is essential to remember that DRC future remains unwritten. The ongoing diplomatic efforts with Rwanda, the planned deployment of SADC troops, and the potential internal reform within the Congolese government all offer glimmer of hope for a peaceful solution. Ultimately, the success or failure of this alliance depends on its ability to genuinely prioritize the well-being of people in DRC and also contribute to the lasting peace. Whether it proves to be a unifying force or a harbinger of further conflicts remains to be seen. The coming month will be crucial in determining the alliance true impact on the DRC fragile but ever resilient nation. Some of the questions that are being raised about this alliance, one of them is, why was the alliance announced in Nairobi? The choice raises eyebrows as it occurs outside DRC and on the Kenyan soil, sparking speculation about possible external influence or support. Some suggest Kenya might be offering the alliance a platform or legitimizing its actions. Other points to Nairobi's historic role in the hosting peace talks for the DRC, implying it could be a neutral ground for dialogue. The other question is, are Rwanda and Uganda government involved? The alliance includes M23, which has been Rwanda has been accused of supporting, so leading to the question about Kigali's involvement. Uganda recent withdrawal of the troops, this also fuels speculation about their role. Both Rwanda and Uganda has previously have been accused of meddling in Congolese affairs, and this adds to concerns. The other question is, was the DRC government right in recalling its envoys from Kenya and Tanzania? The recall is a strong diplomatic move expressing displeasure with the alliance launch on Kenyan soil. It signifies the government views that Kenya potentially violated diplomatic protocol by allowing the announcement within its borders, although Kenya is defending itself, saying that they cannot control who speaks in Kenyan soil. However, some criticize the move as unnecessary, as a hostile or a harsh reaction that could escalate tensions further. What are the true intentions of this alliance? That's another question that is being asked. Is it genuinely seeking peace and stability, or does it harbor any other ulterior motives? Will the alliance disrupt the upcoming elections? How will the regional and international actors respond to the formation of these groups? So these are some of the questions that are being raised, and it will be interesting to see how this unfolds. We'll be here to bring you any new updates as far as this is concerned. So thank you for reaching this far. If it's your first time here, please subscribe to this channel. Also, you can leave a comment, like the video, and also share. Thank you.